November 9th, 1983. This is Joe Todd, an interview with Mr. Clarence Hampton. Mr. Hampton?
Uh-huh.
Where were you born?
Kentucky
When's your birthday?
in December the 20th
What year were you born?
in 1878.
Who is your father?
John Hampton. Jenny Hampton was the mother.
What was her maiden name?
Huh?
What was her maiden name?
John and Jenny.
Okay. Were your parents from Kentucky?
Yeah, I was born there.
What kind of work did your father do?
Farming.
Farmer?
Uh-huh.
What part of Kentucky were you from?
What was the northern part? I don't know I was back there a few years ago, and I seen the foundation of the house. And it's right across the river from Ohio, the big town there in Ohio, on the north side. Oh.
How long did you live in Kentucky?
Well, I was just born there's about all. I don't know. I didn't keep track of things very good, and we in a covered wagon, and I had two brothers, Sam and Charlie, older than me, and then there were the Fooders came along, and there's so many wagons, I don't know how many, and I was just not very old. I don't know how old.
Where'd you move to?
Cedarville. And we slept in that wagon and drove along and ate along beside the wagon or something. I don't know what we had. You know, a store at that time didn't have a tin can in it. Not anything that big. It was come in barrels or boxes, wooden boxes.
Yeah.
And Dad freighted from Winfield. There's a railroad there across the Cedarville, that big store. With just a team, that held enough groceries that he could buy with just a team in a common wagon.
What year did you move to Kansas?
Well, it was, I don't know whether I was a year old or not. I wasn't very old, I don't know. And in fact, I didn't have any education, and I never did keep track of anything very good. I just thought it was that year.
Did your father start farming there at Cedarville?
Well, no, he bought out a livery barn. I don't know if you know what a livery barn is or not. And run a livery barn for a while. Let's hook horses to a buggy. And so a drummer would come along and rent them and drive them in the country. There's no bridges on the creeks, no place. You know, we didn't have a bridge here about 6 years after the opening.
What was the name of the livery barn?
Cedarville.
Cedarville.
Livery barn. Dang if I know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether it had a name or not.
Was your father in the Civil War?
No. I don't know why, but he wasn't. The war was going on at that time with the niggers, you know, freeing them, and they would get loose and didn't know what to do with themselves. Some of them would come around to the Indians. Of course, the Indians was just 4 miles south of Cedarville. Then the Osage joined on to that. So we had them Indians to contend with, too.
When's the first time you saw the Indians?
Oh, I don't know. Right from beginning of time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
How long did you live in Cedarville?
Well, we lived there a year or two. Then he rented a farm south of Cedarville. And we went down there a couple of years. And then he got a homestead up by the hills, west of Cedarville, about 6, 7 miles. And we lived up there. And prairie chickens and quail and everything like that was plentiful at that time. But we didn't have no roads, no road tools, or anything to pull it. Just a team of horses. Some of them weren't very big. We had horses and mules.
How big was the homestead?
Huh?
How many acres was the homestead?
160 just like today.
Did your father have to prove up on it?
Yeah.
What did he do?
Well, you just file $14, go to the county seat, which is Winfield. Now, we go to Perry, used to, when we filed on a home. We could live on a homestead here. Now, he got a claim 3 miles east of here and 8 miles north. That's 160 acres. And he had to move on there by the 1st of March, and we moved down there the first day of March of 1894. This country was opened in 1893.
How come your father decided to come to Oklahoma?
Why get free home? Oh, hell, there's lined up there for 10, 15, 20 miles.
Do you
Right across the border.
do you remember the day of the run?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, I wasn't there. I was 14 years old, and we made lots of prairie hay, and I was hauling hay when I was 13 years old down to Cedarville. That was a big market for hay. Everybody had a horse. Some was race horses, and they run across the line. Some of them just runs the damn further around the land. And but the neighbors had 2 little mules hooked to a spring wagon, and 3 of them got claims out of 4.
Where did your father? Oh, go ahead.
He just 5 miles south come, 5 miles south of the line.
Did your father ride a horse in the run?
No, 4 of them coming down spring wagon.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Spring wagon.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Can you tell me on the farm in Kansas what kind of chores you did as a boy?
Oh, you fed the hogs and milked the cows and fed the horses, done everything with it. I hauled lots of hay. I'd a bale of hay, I'd haul about 30 bales to the team haul downhill.
What kind of baler did you have?
Oh, I don't remember. It was, you hooked the horse to it, and somebody drove the horse around. That's about all I know.
Did you help your father break sod in Kansas?
Huh?
Did you help your father break sod in Kansas?
Yeah. Had a sod plow. It's a little plow that runs under the ground, and it's got rods. And then we had it down here. And they cost about $14 or $15.
How many acres of sod could you break in a day?
About 2.
About 2?
Uh-huh. We'd walk, and everybody walked. And then when we got across the border, a little later that spring, I got a job from Frank Dilworth working on this farm, and he put me to breaking sod. And he just cut that off, and we'd 2 big mules a day. 2 acres a day was about right.
When you settled on a homestead by Cedarville, what kind of house did you live in?
Oh, just a frame house, box up roller. Now, the lumber, was about $10 a thousand. You could take $75, $80 and build a little road house.
Did you come down in Oklahoma with your father during the run?
No, I didn't come down till the next March,
Mm-hmm.
and him and them neighbors came. I stayed home and done the chores and hauled hay. We had a lot of hay baled up, you know, and the settlers come that way from the east. The main roads over the Flynn Hills, and they didn't have a road every place. And they'd come along there, they'd buy enough hay to last them after they got over there by Arkansas City. That's when they crossed both creeks, the old Walnut and the Arkansas. And they'd give them 3 or 4 bales of hay in the wagon to do the trip. And the people were settled thick, you know, from the state line back north. Nobody crossed the line. One fella got shot.
What stories did your father tell you about the run?
Huh?
Do you remember any stories your father told you about the run?
Well, no, just everybody was so damn thick. They did it on a horseback or in some kind of conveyance. And they was in a spring wagon and had a couple of little mules hooked to it. And they had to hunt the road down there, you know, just go across. And the train left Arkansas City, and people was living all over it. All could get in, and then they couldn't get up on top. And when they got down the line, they drove slow, and they could jump off and go out there and stake a claim. And then when you got down to Newkirk, it was laid out. No, not Newkirk, Cross. That's the little town between them. And the people, and Ponca City, I believe, was too. It was Indians in there. They could stake a claim. You know, they had a little stake to tie a rag on for a flag, make a flag, and that was their homestead.
Was the whole area laid out? Your father's claim, was it?
Farm, it was just 160 acres of big old prairie, just there's horse pasture and cattle pasture that the white people had leased from the Indians. You see, the government was handling all that thing. Government deal.
Were the corners of the quarter section staked off?
No, the one staked off, but there's a rock kind of sticking out, a rock. It is surveyed, it's all surveyed.
Were there many people that tried to stake on the same claim?
Well, there's a few, and they were so dry, you know, we didn't get any rain for about 3 years. Grass was about that high. I herded the cattle out of the grass. We had 20 head of cattle. I guess that was the Lord's deal, you know. There was a few claim contests up and down Bitter Creek and around. We were a couple of miles from Bitter Creek.
If two people tried to stake the same claim, how would they settle it?
Well, they'd take maybe a 6-shooter, and you could, then brothers would win. I know up here 2 mile north, there was a fellow got on the people I was going to tell you their name, I can't remember. He was digging a well, and he was down in there, and they come up and see him, and he got the shovel. My gosh, was shovel dirty on top of him. He wanted to get out. The fellow was going to bat him on the head, you know. They was a little rough with each other, and
Were there many people killed?
not very many. Most of them would get off, or they'd give them $10 or $15. They didn't have much money. Maybe trade them a saddle, you know, or a pony for a claim. And a lot of fellows couldn't get anything. They just didn't have much nerve, you know. They wouldn't stay. Of course, up there, that's up there. But you know, we didn't raise anything for about 3 years.
What'd you do for those 3 years?
just lived on the wind or a little or nothing. We had a little money, Dad did have. I believe he got a little from Kentucky. You know, his folks had a distill made whiskey, you know. You can sell whiskey when you can't sell groceries. Hell, people will buy whiskey and tobacco when they have anything to eat or not eat, don't make a difference
Did your father
about
sell
that.
whiskey?
Huh?
Did your father sell whiskey?
No, my dad didn't, but his folks all did.
Yeah.
Made it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Where'd you start the school?
Well, Hoosier, no, well, we went a few days up to Hoosier. Hoosier's a little station on the railroad between Dexter and Cedarvale. And I went to school until I got into the fourth reader.
That as far as you went?
As far as I went.
Mm-hmm.
I never had any schooling. And then we had a school I was built right by us down here. And Dad had anything work to do, I'd stay at home and help do it rather than go to school. Couldn't learn nothing. I didn't learn nothing. I don't have any book learning. Although I've been in a lot of businesses where I had to have a lawyer, you know, like that. But I don't, I can, well, I'm so damn blind now I can't read. And I ain't read the paper or anything. But I just hear something once in a while.
When was the town of Blackwell settled?
Huh?
When was the town of Blackwell settled?
What was settled?
Yeah, when was it settled? What year?
Oh, it started? You mean started
Yeah.
at the opening? Old man Blackwell, you see, old man Blackwell married an Indian woman. Indian woman could sell her land. She had it deeded to the government. So we had her 2 or 3 80 they had, and this old man Blackwell laid it out and called it Blackwell Rock. And that was done. That was done before the opening, and their settlers could go there and buy them lots for about $10 a piece or something.
Who was old man Blackwell?
He's a man, couldn't tell you. He was just a man married an Indian woman. They do that here in this country. And they get to be boss, you see.
When you first moved down here in '94, what kind of house did you live in?
Well, Dad had a 2-room house, just a box house.
With a frame?
Yeah, a right good house. Yeah, we had and then he built a room on the north. Pretty soon after. That cost $80, I remember that. And then some of his relatives died, and he got some money from back in Kentucky, and we had some groceries then. And he always in Oklahoma. We're 12 miles from Newkirk, and we're 8. We're about 11 miles from Blackwell. And we had a nice crossing right below the bridge where it is now. We crossed the river for, I think we got a bridge in about 6, 7 years.
What river's that?
Arkansas. Oh, no, Chikaskey. We got the Chikaskey here, right north of town and then east. 2 bridges. Uh-huh.
What was your first impression of Oklahoma when you came down?
Well, I just thought we had a homestead, we had a place to live, we owned it. Dad had something he owned.
You didn't own the homestead in Kansas?
Oh, yes, he did, but it was nothing. He got a $500 mortgage on it and lost it. So it was no good to us. So we just lived on and paid $50. Albrights, you know. You know, Albrights would come out there and send a boy out on a pony with a gun, and it was yellow in Israel because also was done. Albright Company. They're still at Winfield. That's the county seat.
Yeah. That first year you were on the homestead here in Oklahoma, how many acres of sod did you break?
Well, I was judge about half of it. I judged about 80 acres. You could break it all out. But we had kept about 50, 60 acres for pasture on the west side.
Is there a difference between a regular walking plow and a sod plow?
Oh, I don't know. I guess not. A walking plow, you mean it's got a moldboard. A sod plow don't have a moldboard. They just have a few rods up there.
What do the rods do?
Turn the sod over.
Okay, it turns the sod upside down.
You know, we had lots of houses built out of sod. And I had a homestead out in western Oklahoma. Later years, about, I don't know, I guess about 10 years. 16 miles straight south of Alvey. And I fenced that all but about 16 acres. And I had cattle.
Was that a sod house you lived in at that time?
No, I dug it inside the hill, half one way and half sod. And covered with sod.
Yeah.
When did you move out to Alva?
Huh?
When did you move out to Alva?
Well, I just wonder if I can think of the year. I suppose about 10 years after that.
How come you moved to Alva?
I say not to Alva, on the ranch, farm.
How come you moved out there?
Why to have a little more land and some grass? I just moved myself. I didn't move the family. I just moved myself out there and batched there and lived in that. Sometime I'd eat with a neighbor, for $2 a week.
Did your father talk about the day he filed on the claim?
Not very much.
How did he
Well,
file?
I tell you, you had to go down to a period and get a number. And when they call that number, you'd go in and file. And Alva had a deal. Of course, the movement was over when I was out there, and I could go in and file any time.
How long did it take him to file on the place?
Well, just a piece of paper, sign it, all.
I mean, how long? How long did you have to wait in line?
Till this opening, somebody ahead of you. You see, it was just a matter of how fast we got along. It's lined up, you know. It's lined up down there some land office. That was a government deal, you see. And then you had to have $14. It cost $14 to file. And then that lasted until Dennis Flynn got a bill through. If you live on a place 5 years, you could get a free home. So he lived he's on there 7 years, and he got a free home. And them that lived there that long could get a free home, and if you wanted to borrow money or something, get a deed, why then you could get that in 2 years. But you had to pay $2 an acre here, and then for the west is $1.50, then $1. Different price for going west.
What was life like on your homestead the first couple of years, 93, 94?
Oh, it was pretty dull. We had horses, carry a monkey. We could go someplace, but no. We had a Sunday school a place west of us down next to the creek. There's one big tree there. It's kind of in the creek, you know. You know, every once in a while somebody light a match and set the whole country afire. But this tree was there, and we had rocks there, and we set all rocks, and at that time we got a Sunday school paper. And had Sunday school there, Jim Carter's.
Tell me about the range fires.
Huh?
The range fires.
Oh, good God. I'll tell you, it's a country gets so far you can see far every place. I don't know what to say.
How'd you put it out?
Well, they'd get along with the barrels and Jenny run there wasn't nothing to burn. That's where Jenny wound up.
How'd you save your homes?
Huh?
How'd you save the houses?
Well, they'd do something around it.
What, plow a fire break around it?
Uh-huh, yeah. Uh-huh. We had that up in the Flynn Hills, too. You'd see the damn thing coming from miles away.
Yeah. Did you know Dennis Flynn?
Oh, I just seen him time or two. Dennis Flynn is the one who got us free homes. He's a great fellow, we think.
What was he like, Dennis Flynn?
Well, I don't know. I couldn't tell you that much about him. Just a very nice fellow to meet. He spoke at Polka City a few times. We'd go over there.
Do you remember the Spanish-American War?
Well, yeah, a little. Not too much.
Tell me what you remember about it.
Well, we weren't close to any of it. I just go over to see the boys get on the train to leave. Was about all. Something you didn't like to say, but you understand.
Were there many activities to support the war?
Not too many. There was quite a few too, I guess. We didn't have much money through here.
Yeah.
The farmers were all poor farmers, and
Did you watch the soldiers come back from the war?
oh yeah, we celebrated that.
Tell me about the celebration.
Well, they'd have one bunch would have booze, and the other would have firecrackers, something like that. You know, we had 7 saloons here at one time. Got along fine. 7 saloons.
What were the names of them?
Well, I can't do that. They're just named with the owners, and I can't. You know, my memory names of people I ain't very good. I can't hardly meet somebody. I could tell you your names. I certainly.
What was the inside of the saloons like?
Oh, they was decorated pretty nice. Kept up pretty good.
Were they kind of rough and tumble, or were they pretty?
No, they was pretty decent. Once in a while there'd be a fight in there, and there'd be some gambling in the back end.
Now, how was the saloon run? You had the barkeeper.
Oh yeah,
Was the barkeeper the owner normally?
Jerry was.
Did they have people waiting tables, or?
No, they would, bigger towns, you know, where there's more people working in the industry had money. Was different. But here they was a nickel for a glass of beer and a dime for a glass of whiskey. I remember that. I used to buy a drink once in a while.
Did you have to go up to the bar to get the drink, or did they bring it to you?
Either way.
Either way.
It was.
They have saloon girls.
Some of them did. And big dinners on holidays, you know. Like they may probably have roasted pig or turkey, like Christmas and New Year's or something like that.
In Blackwell, were there any, I'll call them ladies of ill repute?
Any what?
Were there any ladies of the night in Blackwell?
Well, I don't know whether there was or not. I was pretty young then. I wouldn't get on to stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's very good. And I wouldn't be here at nighttime anyhow, but I think they were. I guess it was every place.
Mm-hmm. Were there certain parts of Blackwell you couldn't go that weren't safe to go in?
No, it wasn't bad, but Blackwell was pretty decent. It wouldn't even know a nigger here for many years. In fact, we don't have one here now.
Tell me about harvest time.
Well, harvest time was the time that everybody got out and worked, and at that time, we didn't get any wages, much about $1 a day would be about the size of it. And we had horses to pull the binder with, and header, and oh yeah,
25 at that time?
oh yeah.
And you rode, didn't you drive stagecoaches with gold on it or what?
With gold on it.
I thought maybe you did.
I drove a stagecoach from Oasis, California to Colddale, Nevada. It just took a big day.
Tell me about driving the stagecoach.
Well, you know, at one end, well, I tell you, it is just more like of a post office. A little store there, you could buy maybe a shirt, a pair of overalls, or something like that. And I went through Salt Lake Valley. I drove 4 horses, and while I was eating my dinner, they was changing the horses, and I had the first team. I had to drive fast and hard. And then I'd stay all night up at Colddale, and get up the next morning, drive back down, and then stay all night there. I'd make that trip twice a week and stay all night twice someplace, you know. So,
Where did you start in California?
well, I was down there. First, I went to Stockton and worked at the winery. We made wine, and I delivered it with a 1-horse cart. We were 7 miles south of Stockton, and we'd gather them grapes, but we wouldn't shell them. We just leave them on the pod in big loads, like a rack, and put them in a tank. And well, it was just like the pressed tanks used to be here for about 250 barrels. Just plump in there. Then you get a big Italian, they can stand the smell of wine. And he put along the pair of old hogs, get in and tramp that stuff to get the juice out. And after a while, to get the juice all out and leave them there several days, pour water over them. And then we'd run them through a dryer and squeeze the juice out and pile them pumpkins out there. And we had horses, cattle, and sheep, everything to eat them pumpkins and all get drunk, you know, and the chickens even. It was a sight to see. And I loaded that wine every day, and I took a load up to Stockton. And then we had them in big jugs, and I'd deliver them to the sporting houses and the saloons and the grocery stores and the restaurants.
Now, was this before you were a stage driver?
Yeah.
Now, when did you start? How old were you when you were driving the stage?
Well, I was about 20. I was pretty close to 30.
The stage route was from what town in California to what town in Nevada?
It was Oasis, California to Colddale, Nevada. And I can't remember what year. I'll tell you, it would be about, you when the earthquake was that took the town burned up?
1906.
Huh?
1906.
Well, that was the same year. I was down there when we had the earthquake. I thought a cyclone. And then pretty soon they said, you know, there at that time there wasn't any steel. So the pipes were all made out of wood. They had a pipe about that big square and run a big auger down through it. That was a water pipe, or maybe the sewer. And then stuck together. Then when the cyclone come, there with the water with everything. And the town burned up.
Were you in San Francisco?
No, I was down to Modesto then. It was about 25, 30 miles. But I could feel it very plain.
What was it like? Tell me about it.
Like a cyclone. I thought there was a cyclone. I was running a mower, then mowing alfalfa. I was on the McHenry Ranch. And I was on the McHenry Ranch, and I looked out the window. The old board near here come squeaking. Board was a squeaking, you know, and I had that big mules in there. And I said, cyclone, we got a cyclone. And the water tank, the big water tank, didn't go like that.
Just back and forth.
Uh-huh. And it's full of water. And then pretty soon they said, Frisco's hit with an earthquake.
How long did the earthquake last?
Oh, about like that or something, I wouldn't know. But just a few minutes.
Did you go to San Francisco to see the earthquake?
No. I'll tell you, my mother and aunt, I had one aunt that lived there. Her husband was barber. And you know, the night before the earthquake, they went down to Los Angeles on a trip. We didn't know about it. And I and Al went over, as my brother, and they couldn't find him. So pretty soon we heard that he went to Frisco. But you know, that happened 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, you know, all that people wasn't dressed. They run out and they couldn't go back in. And they went off, and they went down to the depot, and the depot gave them a ticket. If they had a relative someplace, they gave you a ticket. You go there free. And across to Oakland, you know, I was on to Oakland. They would put a long table out and a lot of food on it from the stores, you know, something they could eat. They didn't have no clothes or nothing to eat or anything. Took everything they had. The insurance companies all went under. Very few got anything out of their property.
Tell me about some of your experiences while driving the stage, what you remember.
Well, I was just driving a big carriage, just like I would here, or you would. Wasn't nothing exciting about it. I just carried the mails about all in a little express. I never happened to get much of passengers.
Carry passengers?
No.
What kind of coach was it? What model?
Well, I don't know. It was just rock, you know. About like the one they had over to, I seen one over to Phillips. You been over there? See that stagecoach there?
Concord stage?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
And how long would it take to drive from Oasis to Colddale?
All day.
All day.
Uh-huh. Went till late.
And how many times you changed horses on the trip?
Just at noon.
At noon. Now, where was that?
Well, it was just a wide place in the road where that gal had a good meal. There was Italians, and I used to say their name. Two brothers owned it. One of them was married, and they had a lovely meal. They was Italians, and there's a little creek about like that, run down the mountains, and that was snow that was melting. Give them water. And we went up there and took some horses on the 4th of July and got their snow was just about like heavy ice at the foothills, and we had ice cream and cold beer on the 4th, and I had a sister came home. And the old man would drink a quart of whiskey a day and chew a plug of tobacco, and then buy whiskey with a keg, you know, for the old dad. But I guess he was already drunk, he couldn't get drunk. And he was a shoemaker, and he would drive some taxis on my shoes. There's some ranches there, McHenry's Ranch, and another family or two. And they hauled hay, alfalfa up to Mary's mine up in the hill mountains at a gold mine. My brother was there in Silver City, and he was kind of fooling around the saloon and drinking a little too, Charlie. And I got that job of going down there with Lida.
Were you in Oklahoma when it became a state? 1907?
Yeah, I think. No, I don't believe it was, because I think I was out there in 1906 when that earthquake.
Yeah, okay. Driving the stage.
Uh-huh. No, I don't think I was.
How long did you spend on the homestead out by Alvey?
2 years.
2 years?
That's to prove it up.
What kind of crops did you raise?
Oh, I just had a little patch of maize and all mostly grass for the cattle. I had 40 head of cattle, and damn if I didn't get $400 for them. 40 head. That's the price of cattle. They give you nothing for a calf, a cow.
What kind of crop did your father raise here on the homestead?
Well, a calf of corn and maize, and little corn at that time. We didn't raise wheat at that time. We raised corn, and the whole country was in corn.
Did you broadcast the seed, or did you have a machine to plant it?
Oh, we had a machine. Yeah.
Was it kind of like the machine that you drill wheat with?
Same thing, or just better.
Same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we had drills then. Well, I'll tell you, I think there's a little different feed on them.
What brand machine was it?
John Deere, I think.
John Deere?
I think so.
How long did it take you to build a half-dugout on the homestead out by Alvey?
Well, that was already built.
It's already built.
I give $400 for that deal. I got everything on there free. Some bachelor had it easy, wanted to get a little money and get out.
How back in the hill, how far back in the hill was it dug?
Oh, about like this room here.
What, about 10, 12 feet?
Uh-huh.
Then how high were the sod walls above ground?
Well, about a little above your head, you know.
Okay. How big was the room? The whole
room was one side. There was just one. I slept in there and ate and cooked. And we could get some quail for any time, and rabbits. I ate all of them. I still like a rabbit.
What was the roof made of?
sod, just some poles over there, and some brush and some hay, and then dirt on top of that.
How thick was the sod?
Oh, I think about like
About
that.
6 inches?
Yeah, maybe a foot, I don't know.
Is sod good insulation?
Well, the way it kind is don't have too much sand in it. Sand won't turn water, but gummy stuff will. Yeah.
Do you remember the Depression of 1907?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. You're probably in California at the time of that depression.
Well, I'll tell you, they had county money. Well, yeah, I do remember that. We had a little town out of someplace, and I got a kind of a job there, and we got to gambling, and I got enough money to come home on.
That was during the Depression?
Yeah, I got scrip. They had county scrip out there. $10 and $20 bills and something.
Was that in California?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You remember the name of the town?
Modesto, I guess.
Modesto?
Uh-huh.
Then you're still working on the McHenry Ranch?
At McHenry. Yeah. Well, you know, when McHenry died, it was about 4,000 acres. The old man died. He had a young woman, and she taught her brother to run it. Then I and Sam, we started then for northern, up in Iowa, up into a coast, you know. And we went up to Portland, Oregon. And then up into Washington and over into some other place.
What'd you do up there?
Harvested. Went through the harvest. I drove a 6-horse team up and down them rocky hills and hauled water for the teams.
What were you harvesting?
Well, I can't tell you where that was at. Harvesting wheat.
Wheat?
Yeah, you know them hills are round up in there. And then plow around that hill, work around it, and turn the sod down. And they had the headers. We could work 35 days.
Now, was this in Oregon and Washington?
It was up in Idaho.
Idaho.
Uh-huh. That big crops, you know, nice. It'll stand up, wheat will stand up 35 days, nice. Uh-huh.
When you came back to Oklahoma in 1907 or 1908, how'd you travel?
Well, trained then.
By train?
Uh-huh.
How long did it take to get from Modesto to Oklahoma?
2 or 3 days. We'd sleep on the train.
Did you come back to Blackwell?
Yeah. Horse come home.
What'd you do when you came back here?
Oh, pretty soon I got a job. I got in about in 17 or 18 when I come back.
Oh, 17 or 18.
Yeah, I was buying horses and mules. We always had a lot of horses and mules, and I was judge of horses and mules. And so I got to buying them and shipping them to Fort Worth and selling them to the Army. You had a picnic, you know, selling a horse or a mule to a Frenchman. He would know horse from a mule.
Were you buying horses up here in Oklahoma, taking them to Fort Worth?
Yeah, I traveled all around here I had a car then.
Did you work for the Army?
No, I worked for myself all the time. Old man Linker financed me. You know, Lyman Linker, the old man, they had a bank at Bremen. And he'd finance me with all that stuff, and never took a mortgage. I never had to give a mortgage.
How would you get the horses and mules?
Huh?
Where would you get the horses and mules?
Farmers raise them. They raise them, just like they do cattle.
How much did you pay for one?
Well, Jenny cost around $100, $150. Some goes better than others.
And how much did you sell them to the Army for?
Well, about a couple $100, ordinary.
How many head would you take down to Fort Worth at one group?
Well, we could put about 25 or 30 in a car.
Train car?
Uh-huh. Ship them down. Uh-huh.
How long did you do that?
Well, I don't know.
Did that stop when the war ended?
I think so. Yeah, everybody had too many left.
Tell me about Armistice Day, November 11th.
Well, I can't remember too much about that. I was here too. I think that night it froze up, didn't it?
I'm sorry?
I think it froze
Mm-hmm.
that night.
Was there a big celebration here?
Well, expect I can't
It
remember.
was in 1918.
Uh-huh. Well, we all went to Bremen. There's quite a little neighborhood get together.
Did many boys from around here go to the war?
Huh?
Did many boys from around here go to the First World War?
Well, yeah, quite a lot. Yeah, quite a lot. I wouldn't know how many, but there was.
Did most of them come back?
Yeah, some. Well, they come back in a different way. Most of them come back. The army sent them back, you know. They always come back, but they come back in a coffin, in a tin box.
How many were killed?
I don't know.
What did you do in the 1920s?
Well, I went over to Bremen and went into real estate with Clay Scott. And I sold a farm the next Sunday.
Were you pretty successful at real estate?
Well, I was good, very good. I sold more farms, I think, and half of them put together.
Were there many flappers around this area?
Huh?
Were there many flappers around this area?
No, I don't think so.
When did you see your first car? First automobile?
Well, I think, I remember a fellow came over to give me a ride, and but I can't remember what year it was, but it was maybe close to 1910, maybe something like that.
Was that here?
Is up home. Well, I lived on a farm for the time 5 miles east of Bremen. At that time it was there. Then I bought me a car in about 16 or 17. I used to drive a horse and buggy.
What kind of car did you buy?
Ford.
Ford?
Yeah, a new Ford cost $400.
Whenever you had wagons on the farm here, what kind of wagons did you have?
Well, I think maybe Studebaker and maybe another kind.
How much would a wagon cost?
Well, about $75, $80.
Whenever you bought a wagon, what came with it?
Well, the deck yoke and the swing seat.
Did the double trees come with it?
Yeah, single tree. Yeah.
Did the bows and the wagon sheet come with the wagon?
What?
Did the bows and the wagon sheet come with it? What'd they cost?
Well, I can't remember. I think the wagon sheet cost $4 or $5.
Was it spring seat?
Huh?
Was it a spring seat?
Yeah. You got one there. Yeah.
What kind of wood was the wagon made of?
Well, I guess that most of it was made out of some kind of yellow wood. I remember that, but I can't remember the name of it. Maple, maybe it was maple, maybe, I don't know.
What kind of maintenance did you have to pull on the wagon?
Huh?
What kind of maintenance did you pull on the wagon?
Right.
Yeah, maintenance. What did you have to do to keep the wagon going?
Hook a horse to it.
I mean, what kind of work do you have to do on the wagon?
To repair it.
Yeah.
Well, there was nothing much to do. I don't know. We never had a wagon to do anything with it.
You have to grease the axles?
Yeah, you got to grease the axles, yeah.
How often do you do that?
Just take the wheel off and we buy a little bucket about that big of axle grease and take a paddle and put it on the wheel.
How often would you grease them?
Well, depending on what if it's in sandy land, it'd take a little more.
Would you have to pull the wheel completely off?
Well, no, we're going to leave it on the rim enough to hold it up. A good band could just take it wheel that way and pull it off. And then just slide it down and then stop it before it goes off and then hang on.
Did you have a jack to jack the wagon up, or?
We did, yes, some people do.
What about if you broke a spoke? What would you do?
We'll go to the shop and get one put in.
What about the rim, the steel rim?
You mean well, it got loose and we'd have it set, tires set, we'd call it. Setting the tire, they'd heat it, and stick it in the water. And they had a squeezer to shove it together.
You have to shrink the tire on the wheel?
And then pound it out again.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-oh.
I was just wondering, how old were you when you got your first automobile?
Huh?
How old were you when you first got your first automobile, Clarence?
Oh, I can't remember. I guess it's not about 17 or 18.
1917 or 18, huh?
Uh-huh.
I see.
30 years old.
I'd be,
And you've been married twice.
well, the first time I was 40,
Yeah, when you got married the first time.
the next time I was about 10 years older.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh-huh. My wife died in 80, 85, 60. Well, Laura lived to be, she died the same we had the cyclone. That is 55. She died in 55.
That's right. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's right.
Tell me about the Depression in the 1930s.
Well, I'll tell you, I was given farms away. The country was pretty well mortgaged, and everybody had a mortgage, couldn't pay a mortgage off. I sold a lot of good heavy farms for $4,000 in 5. Like old man Gurley, I sold him a lot of farms. Bill Rogers, Jim's granddad. And he would buy his family one. He'd buy himself a farm, and then he'd get his wife one, then there were 2 girls and 2 boys one. And you go around that several times, I don't know how many times.
Were you farming during those years?
I was farming some in the early day.
Tell me about the dust storms.
Huh?
The dust storms, the 1930s. Or the Dust Bowl.
Oh, I tell you, we wasn't into it quite so bad as it was in western Oklahoma, but it just come across here, and you couldn't see nothing. It is troubling.
Did the farmers use any special techniques to keep the soil from blowing away?
I don't think so. I don't know.
When were the first shelter belts planted?
Huh?
When were the first shelter belts planted?
Oklahoma?
I mean, the rows of trees. When were they put in around here?
I don't believe they put in one around here, did they? I don't remember one. Do you?
No, I don't know. We were out in the country a little while ago and he pointed one out, but I didn't know if they were planted intentionally or they just happened to happen that way.
What was it like?
Oh, just a row of trees.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of them done that. There was,
Sort of like Uncle Joe used to plant a lot of cedar trees.
well, he got them from the government. There was the shelter plan. They kept their blood yeah.
When did they start putting those in?
Well, I don't know, 7 years ago. I don't know how many.
What did you do during World War II? 1941, 1945.
I don't remember.
Probably selling real estate about that time.
I think so.
Selling land and
Uh-huh.
so on and so forth. See, I was about 3 years old then.
Yeah, I guess as I was selling real estate. Yeah. I sold real estate for a good many years and done appraising for a bank, you know. Appraiser.
How did you get the job driving the stagecoach?
Huh?
How did you get the job driving the stage?
Well, I was up there. I went out there with brothers and he driver wanted to do something and I could drive a horse just as he could. That's all there was to it.
Did you do that for a long period of time?
No, about 6 months.
About 6 months. Huh?
Yeah. I could have done it longer, but they get a cold winter up there and it's too cold for me. It is 5,000 feet high, valley, 5,000 feet high. Pretty high. I know they had their watermills open, frozen in August.
Can you tell me what your first Christmas was like on the homestead here?
Well, I don't remember exactly, but it was, we didn't have anything to lunch, you know, just a regular kind of regular.
Where'd you get your Christmas tree?
Well, we just got a tree. Maybe, I don't know.
Cedar tree?
I doubt it. We didn't have much cedar up that way. I think we just got a common tree and trimmed it up with popcorn and something else. You know that timber was all cleaned off on Chikaski till you get down to Ole Goodson's. That's 3 miles south of town. And we took two wagons on Dad and rode down there on the east side of the river. We didn't cross. And Ole Goodson was sitting there on a beautiful horse and saddle. And he sold Dad his tree. I know Dad gave 50 cents or $1 for it. And he said you just cut that down and pile the brush on top of the stump and load the wood in your cart and go home. And so we didn't have very heavy teams, so we couldn't haul a very heavy load. It was right straight south of our place to his. But we had to go around a little, jog around a little bit of the creeks, crossings.
Did you ever go over to the Osage Nation to cut timber?
No. I and my brother went over and shuck corn one year. They raised lots of corn in the coal country in Osage. And my brother is all corn. All corn.
After statehood came in, all the saloons were closed.
Huh?
After statehood, all the saloons were closed in Oklahoma.
I don't know.
Yeah, after 1907. Who were the big bootleggers around Blackwell?
Huh? Jake. Jake somebody. Hey, you could get some beer or liquor.
Did he make it?
And I think he bought it from somebody. The beer I know he bought. We could buy liquor by going in the depot and tell them that you wanted a gallon of Hainer. They'd sell you for 80 cents a quart. 4 quarts, 4 8's 32. And we went to Fort Worth, and they all sold for. And then we got whiskey. I got a gallon, and Stevens got a gallon. Then we got a gallon for the old fellows working for us. And we set to put that on the train. The train took that, The train was in the whiskey business. I mean, the express company. You could go at the depot in Braven and order a gallon of whiskey, and it'd be there the next day.
It come in from Fort Worth?
Huh?
The whiskey came from Fort Worth?
Well, I tell you, we set that gallon up here, and that old man got hold of that, and his wife didn't know nothing about whiskey, but he hid it out there at the old buildings, and then she found it. And the old fellow wanted to work with the guy back. I went out there to see about it, and she said that, she wouldn't let him have a teacup full at morning and noon and night, then she wouldn't let him have any more. But he couldn't get out of bed. So I said, I'll take the rest of the whiskey. I took it.
So the express company was selling whiskey?
Huh?
The express company was selling whiskey?
Well, I don't know who you'd call it, seller or the agent or who it was, but anyhow, that's where you get it, by express. Mm-hmm. You get a gallon in a gallon jug, or you can get 4 quarts. And Hainer.
Hainer?
Hainer whiskey.
Where did it come from, Hainer?
Kansas City, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Boy.
When did you get your first tractor?
Tractor? I never had a tractor.
Never had a tractor.
He's never had any serious illnesses except just a few years ago, had a pacemaker put in. He's been a very, very healthy man.
Huh.
How come you went to California?
Well, just to get like some young fellow wants to get away from home. I had a brother-in-law who was an agent, Ed Davis. He could get me a ticket for $40 to like Okla down to San Diego. Stopped in Frisco, and stayed a night or two.
Can you tell me what Blackwell looked like the first time you went there?
Here,
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of stuff thrown together, small houses. It's quite a while before we got a good building, but up on the northeast corner of First Street, the boarding company built a building there with brick. I sold it for $14,000.
Who built that building?
Pabst Brewery, I think.
I'm sorry?
I think it was Pabst Brewery.
Oh, Pabst Brewery.
Uh-huh.
Now, was Blackwell a tent city like Oklahoma City was the first day?
Well, I don't think so. It was some tents. Well, I don't know. Probably I didn't get to go very early. You know, the river was dry, and people was camped up and down the river bed. And they'd set a barrel down there in the sand, and the water would seep into it. Wooden barrel like a salt barrel or some kind of barrel made of soft wood.
Who settled the town of Bremen?
Huh?
Who settled the town of Bremen?
Well, somebody worked there by the name of Braver. They put that in a few years later. I forget how many years. But we would live right, Dad got a farm right east of 2 miles. The cemetery is just 2 miles east. A mile and a half.
Did you ever see Teddy Roosevelt?
No.
No. What about politics in Blackwell? You know,
What?
election of mayors?
Huh?
You know, mayor's election?
Yeah, I don't pay much attention to politics. No.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, Mr. Hampton, I want to thank you. We have a good interview.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. I tell you, getting old ain't no fun, but I'm in such good health that I'm not bothered any.
See if we can get you all's picture while you're sitting there.
Huh.
Put the phone of it.
Well.
It's
Well, out there, farm, and I drove a 14-horse team strung out to a plow.
Where was this?
Oh, out in California, they have, and we did have a 32 mule team on a big coach from the McHenry Ranch over to butchered beeves. They butchered beeves and hogs and everything out on that ranch and take them in there to that butcher shop. You know, at that time there still was no ice, and they'd handle that some way. But they had that big, gosh, we was 30, 40 miles down there.
What time of year would you butcher?
Well, I guess I had to butcher the year round. People still eat, you know.
Clarence, did you ever go to any of those Pawnee Bill Wild West shows or anything?
Huh?
Did you ever go to any of those Pawnee Bill shows,
No,
Wild West shows or anything, or Buffalo Bill?
no.
What about the 101?
Yeah, I've been to the 101 ranch.
Tell me about the 101 ranch.
Well, can't tell you very much because I just there one day. The train went in there. I seen the Miller boys. Dave was running at Miller boys. And one of them got killed going up from Ponca City. He bet that he could drive that car faster than something, and he run into trade.
Ever meet any outlaws in this part of the state?
No, there has been. Come to Dexter there, pretty close to us. When we lived at Cedar, Hoosier.
What about the Dalton gang?
Huh?
The Dalton gang. Ever see them?
No.
Or Jesse James?
No, I never seen any outlaws. They was all, you know, the outlaws was awful good to the common people. They was very friendly. And, but we never happened to have any close to us. Hoosier's just a little place, a wide place. They're old the schoolhouse there.
Okay. Thank you.